What's going on, Junkie Nation? Gorgeous George and Goes checking in here on a Saturday. We get to talk to one of the best in the business. It's Tatiana Suarez, who's 10-0 overall. That nice, shiny goose egg on the loss column makes her one of the big stars in the game. Not only that, she's got 3 major wins over former and current world champions, and she's gotten down at flyweight and strawweight in 2023 after this huge comeback of almost 4 years. Tatiana, how are you? How you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you? It's nice.
Good.
It's Saturday. It's a nice day, so I'm glad.
Yeah, I haven't been in Vegas in almost 6 months. So you tell me, like, are you close to jumping in that pool? Is it pool weather yet?
Actually, it's so weird. Like, literally yesterday, it was like pouring rain outside. So
Mm.
it's actually very nice right now. Like, right now, I would say it's like maybe like in the 70s or like, high
Mm.
70s.
All
So it's
right.
nice right now.
And then another thing, I was just eating popcorn and I was just curious. Are you a movie person? And if so, what kind of movies do you like? And are you a popcorn person?
I do like popcorn, and I literally was just watching a movie right now, like right before I came over here.
What movie?
It's called Inheritance, but I haven't finished it yet.
Hmm. All right. Well, I think we asked too many questions about how's your weight? What kind of film have you done on your opponent? And I think a lot of our fans like to know more about the fighters. One last one. Are you a Lakers fan? Does it hurt that they're down 3-0, or do you not care one bit
I'm a
about Cleveland?
huge Lakers fan, but yeah, I mean, man, it is what it is.
It's a tough one. They
I
played good
know it
against
is
the
tough,
Nuggets.
but I grew up watching Lakers games and going to Lakers games as a kid because I'm from California, so and I'm
Yeah,
near
so
LA.
are we.
I'm only 30 minutes from LA.
So are we. So it's a stab in the heart that they're about to get swept.
Yeah,
All right.
it's okay though.
A few weeks ago, Max Holloway won in a different weight class, and so he's got so many options. Now I know you're focused on 115. Is your
Mhm.
sole focus on 115, or have you ever let the matchmakers know if something over here pops, I can, I can also do 125, like you did the one time. I don't know.
Yeah, I actually did, but they said that I couldn't do that, which was like odd because like I've seen him. Whoever just fought Rose, Amanda Ribas, do it.
Right.
Not that I didn't know her name. I know her name. I just like I like had a blank. So I don't want to be disrespectful. Like, oh, that girl. I don't even know her name. I know her name. I just forgot for a second. But yeah, no. No, I've asked them. And I wanted to do that, but they said like you got to make a run at 115 or 125. But like it kind of sucks though because there's just like sometimes there's just like at certain points the divisions are like all booked up, like they're all
Right.
booked. So like and I'd like to an array of opponents, like I like to test myself. So like I've asked for people at 125 and they've told me like I gotta either pick and choose. So I had to choose 115.
And here's another question for you. Do you think because you're such a powerhouse, honestly, um, that the champ, Zhang Weili, do you think she's more scared of you, or are you more not scared, but concerned, we'll say? Because obviously she's a powerhouse too. She's a world champion now with title defenses. But man, I mean, you are an incredibly gifted athlete who's done well so far.
I think like I don't know how she feels. So I can't really speak for her, but I'm excited to face her. If I had the opportunity to face her, that's truly like at this point my dream fight. At first, like a while back, it was Rose, and that still is a fight that I would love to have. And I keep calling, like I'm gonna try to call Rose out every single time, because that's just crazy. It's like at this point, like okay, I know like maybe it could still happen, but like right now it's not happening, and like um when I saw the Amanda Hebus thing, I'm like, what is going on? Like, just because, like, Amanda Hebus is at 115 and then she had the opportunity to face her at 125. I'm like, I would have done that, It's like, so it was just a little funny. But right now, I'm just focusing on, whoever they put me in front of, and I'm excited to do so. But I'm really excited to fight Weili when given the opportunity. just because
Weili,
she has been, she's had a couple dominant performances, and I really want to test myself.
mhm. She also showed a few flaws. Like she got put down a few times by Jianan Yan. How did you assess her title defense, the performance? Like in the end, she would be able to get up and then she'd be able to do what she did. And I think she won 4 of the 5 rounds pretty clean. But overall, what did you see in that matchup? Did you feel a lot better after those 25 minutes than before in terms of how you would do?
I think prior to like that matchup, I knew, how like I kind of know how I would do, but yeah, I mean, it showed just a little bit more, of her game and things like that. I thought she did well. She was able to capitalize like I knew she would. I knew she would win in the grappling department just because Jan is just not good at all on the ground, and I'm nothing against her, but I mean, she's a phenomenal striker, but I just she's not good on the ground at all. So I knew that Wei Li would be able to, out grapple her, and and Jan, not being a wrestler herself, actually got a couple takedowns. If I can remember, I'd have to watch it again, but I think she did get like a couple takedowns. Not like she didn't mean to. I think they just engaged and she like threw her to the ground or something, So um, just seeing that, it just shows me that I think that I could impose my will against her, and my grappling is very very good, so I think I do well, just like I've always known.
Tatiana, so both of you, we've met both of you, and you're both just have great personalities. You're fun to be around. But Vegas is such a small world, right? And with the PI and all that, how does that work? Like, do you ever run into her? And when you do,
Oh,
is it a
I seen her
handshake?
almost every day at her last fight. Like
Yeah, is
right
that
before
weird or?
her title fight, I
Hmm.
seen her almost every single day. And I mean, I mean, I'm very humble. You know what I mean? So like, and I'm very respectful of all of my opponents that I've ever faced. I've never said bad things about my opponents. The only thing that like has made me sound like a complete ass was when I fought Carla and she was saying that like we were friends, and I was like, we're not friends. Like I don't know why she keeps saying this, and like they only put that part. And
Yeah.
but I was just being honest. Like we've literally only had maybe like passing, and passing like hello, and that was it. And I'm like, I can't say that that's my friend. You know what I mean? Like
True. Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that's just false. So like I sounded like an asshole on the thing, like on the thing when we're about to fight. It was like I don't know why she keeps saying we're friends. We're not friends. And I'm like, that just sounds like such an asshole thing. But I'm like, I'm not. I wasn't meaning it to be an asshole. I'm just being honest. Like we aren't friends. So like I don't feel like it would be like weird to fight her. You know what I mean? Because we aren't friends. So
Hmm.
so like I was just saying that. But yeah, I've been nice to all my opponents, and like I've seen, even though Whaley's not my opponent, but I think she is a future opponent. But I still treat her with respect, and every time I would see her, I'd say, "Hi, how are you?" Basically, I'm just helping her with her English.
Yeah. There you go. Um, so I want to bring up the documentary. I watched it. I had a blast watching it, and what I loved about it was you don't really necessarily have to be a fan of mixed martial arts to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And so as I'm watching this thing, I started to think, we just had a big weekend in boxing and this fight, there's even talks about maybe in the sphere. And so I wanted to ask you, how much in mixed martial arts, and especially if this matchup were to happen with Zhang Weili, nationalistic pride, how much does that play into things for you?
That's actually really funny because, I said that I would like to fight on the spear because I am Mexican. And, just because I don't speak Spanish doesn't make me any less Mexican than anybody else. And I literally had this conversation with someone who had commented on Helen Yee's thing. He was like, "You're not Mexican. You don't even speak Spanish." And he's like, "You carry around the American flag and this and that." And I'm just like, I don't know. Like I'm I'm very like I grew up in California, which is basically a second Mexico if you really think about it. Like so the culture is all around me. And I grew up in towns where it was only Mexican. So it's um, like I just, you know what I mean? It's like I am Mexican, and just because I don't speak it doesn't mean that I'm not Mexican. and I feel like that fighting spirit really runs through my veins. I'm very proud to be Mexican, but I also am very proud to be a Mexican American, because America has given me all the opportunities, allowed me to do the things that I have done. I've also represented Mexico when I was a young kid. We did these things where we would go to Mexico and we would wrestle there, and we would wrestle other teams. But we were from America. We'd go there and we would wrestle but we're all Mexican. Like, we all have dual citizenship because my dad is from Mexico. You know, so I've had the opportunity to do these things. Of course, I represented the U.S. when I went into world competitions, because that's where I'm from, and that's where I grew up. So that's the reason why I did that. But I'm very proud to be a Mexican American.
You know, I always think of Tito Ortiz when he would come out with the American flag and the Mexican flag on the other side.
Yeah.
That's kind of how him and I grew up. Our mother's from Peru. Our
Yeah.
father is of Mexican descent, but we were born
Right.
here. But you still feel all those things. You grew up,
Oh,
especially in
100%.
California.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing. Like, it's like, I mean, like I said, like, California is like a second Mexico. Like, if you really, know what I mean? Like, it's like a elote, man, every single day. Like, I ate an elote every single day when I was a kid. Like, it's just like a culture. Like, my corner store, was like full of Mexican candy. Like, you just don't see those things like everywhere else. You know what I mean? So it's just like if you go to like Idaho, they're not gonna have like, the Mexican candy there. Like, it's just it's not gonna be. No one's gonna buy it.
Well, if it were on that card, I think it would be tremendous. I think it would be so much fun, and even the way Dana White talks about it. I mean, he was so high on UFC 300, and look what we got out of that, right? It was a great card.
It was amazing.
So hopefully that does happen. And I just wanted to ask you my last question. Have the matchmakers, have your management told you like we're a little bit closer, or where are you at in this process? Because we all want to see this, and I know you use the word if, but if I take off my media hat as a fan, there is no if. This is what we want to watch, right? We want to see this fight.
Yeah, see, that's what I said, and I was just talking about that. We don't really have like a clear thing, but I just felt like, I mean, what other matchup would you guys want to see? And I felt like this was the matchup to make, and I think like as a fan, like if I was a fan, I would want to see it, just because it's something that she hasn't seen before, a defeated fighter that's long, rangy, and has really good wrestling and grappling. So and not to mention, I'm also like a go-getter out there, you know what I mean? Like, you don't really see me disengage too much. I have, I'm physical in clinch areas and stuff like that. So I just feel like it would present something that, maybe the fans haven't seen from her, and it's a matchup I think is very exciting.
I think you told me once a few years ago that the move from California to Vegas, you weren't sure of it. It now seems you've been in Vegas a few years. Have you adapted, or do you still go back and train with the old team? Like, how's that relationship, I guess?
Yeah, so I still go back to California during my camps, and like I just work with my coach, just because it's a lot more private, and I'm getting like that one-on-one that I really need as a fighter. So, and I'm still trying to figure out the training out here and everything. I mean, I have a lot of partners and stuff like that, but it's been really difficult, just like fighting partners. There's a couple, that will help me out and stuff like that, and like that always helps. But when it comes to being a woman, and there's not many that can give you good work, and so like we've had to really pick and choose my partners and stuff like that, because a lot of times like we're trying to stay healthy, so like going with guys and stuff like that, sometimes we run into like injuries and stuff because they're just more explosive in some areas, especially because I'm a grappler, so like we get in these grappling situations and stuff like that, and that's where you're a little bit more prone to injury than if you're like a stand-up fighter and you're just like, you know what I mean, like you're gonna get less injuries if you spar a guy as opposed to like if you're grappling a guy, so that's where we were running into some problems. But I mean, actually, if you really look at it, like I've only had those two major injuries that really kept me out. It's not like I hurt my toe and I pull out of the fight. It's just like
Right.
So I've worked through injuries before. If I can work through them, I will. Like I've had like several back injuries and stuff like that that I've just worked through, and I've gotten through my camps, and I've had fights. I've had like, if you look at my record, I've had 15 fights, and actually, if you look at my record, I think I'm 11-0 on there as opposed to 10.
Oh, okay. My bad. I went off Tapology, and they had you at 10-0, but I believe you.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I guess my last question would be, Tatiana, is, Johnny Hendricks used to live in Vegas. I don't know if you remember him, the welterweight champ.
Yeah,
And
of course.
he
Johnny
told us
Hendricks was
about,
a wrestler. He used to wrestle with my brother.
yeah, there you go.
He was
And
on a he
so,
was on a team with him.
Oh,
oh,
nice.
okay, at
Yeah.
Oklahoma State?
Yeah.
At Oklahoma State, you said?
No, they did like so there's like a national team, and
Oh,
they were on the same national team together or something.
okay.
Yeah,
So
my brother has a picture with them when they were younger.
Cool.
Johnny, towards the end of his career, he was about your age when he told me this. He was about 32, 33. He would go back to Oklahoma State and wrestle, right? And he wanted to get those fresh young lions, those hungry lions that are making their way up. And he said, because as you get older, the more you pull away from wrestling, you're developing your hands, the other martial arts, you're just not getting those reps in. And so even though you might be a national champ or a two-time national champ, you're just not what you were back then when you were doing it every day. How
Right.
about you? How would you say your skills, when you were at your all-time high in wrestling, or when you felt your strongest, when you were just a wrestler? Are you very removed from that, or do you get enough wrestling reps in that you can say, oh, I'm like I was, when I was competing for the United States?
I definitely don't think that I'm the same wrestler as it was then, just because you do so many more reps. Now I grapple a lot. Like every single time I spar, I get at least I get a takedown, and that's my reps. But it's like, and then I do wrestling on certain days and stuff like that. But I was wrestling twice a day for 2 hours a day for like 5 days a week. So it's just like there's just no, I'm not the same wrestler. Like there's no, you know what I mean? Like that's just a different level. You can, it's all about timing and things like that. Like it's like shot, reshot, things like that. Things that you don't really do too much in MMA, and and I do it, just not as many times. So if I were to do that, I would not. I definitely would not be able to get through a camp if I had to only wrestle twice a day and then do stand up. Like that's just too many practices for anybody. You know what I mean? Like that'd be like crazy amounts of practicing, because the practices were 2 hours as opposed to like our wrestling practice now is only like an hour, and that's like on Wednesday, and then the other days I'm incorporating grappling. Like I go to my back quite often for like guillotines and stuff like that. So it's not the same. Like usually when before I when I was a wrestler, I would sprawl as opposed to now I'll grab someone's neck. You know what I mean? So
Right.
um, it's just a lot different. Yeah.
Do you think you, Carla, Misha have all um, sprung the idea for young girls in high school to go into wrestling? Like, do you think there's more wrestling now than there was back then
Oh,
because of the influence?
100%. Oh, 100%. But it could just be because of, okay, so for instance, when I wrestled, there was only three, like maybe like at the end of my wrestling career at Northview, there was around maybe 6 or 7 girls. When I first started, there was only like 3 girls, and then it was like 7. And by the time I like left high school, and then when I left after that, it was like about 15, and then it was like now there's about 50 girls on the team. And
Wow,
if I and I saw an article the other day, and it's literally the fastest growing sport women's wrestling is.
that's
Oh, wow.
incredible. That's cool.
Yeah.
All right,
Hmm.
and I lied. I do have one more outside the box question. See that palm tree behind you?
Hmm.
I've heard in Vegas that palm trees can be a breeding ground for scorpions. You ever encountered a scorpion in Vegas?
No, but that is very scary.
Yeah, no, I don't mean to scare you or anything, but I was just wondering if you had ever, We get
That's like right by my door. That's right by my window too. So I'm like,
we get a scorpion service every 2 months. We've never I think we've only had one scorpion in our
Do you
house.
live in Vegas?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So actually, my friend Rachel, her husband, has encountered 2 of them. So like, I don't know. I'm like, now I'm like, shit. I'm sitting next to one right now. Like, there's a palm tree on this
So
side.
what it was, I probably didn't represent it well. I guess when a lot of palm trees were brought from Arizona and from northern Mexico, just you know, as the city was booming and people wanted to landscape it, that's what brought a lot of the scorpions. So it doesn't mean that because you have that, there's a scorpion there or anything like that. But I was just curious.
Okay. I'm like, breeding ground. You're telling me there's thousands in there? No, I'm just kidding.
No. Well, that's a good thing you haven't seen one yet. So
yes, it is a good thing.
thanks for the time. It's always great catching up with you, and we're glad you're healthy and ready to take a fight. I hope you get the spear. I think you deserve it. Like I say, you're a gangster, man. 11-0, and being able to fight in 2 weight classes, even though right now the focus is 115.
Yeah.
The UFC's got themselves a star right here, and hopefully they can put you on that platform so you can succeed. It's got to be the spear.
Thank you. I appreciate it. There's a bug on my phone, but it's okay. Thank you.
All right, Tatiana. Enjoy your Saturday. Thanks for the time.
You too. Bye-bye.